Hello, welcome to InfoHub Recap. We look back at the past week's main issues. In our headlines, GCOM chairman's appointment ruled as fit and proper by High Court. Government and GPSU are partners, not rivals. President tells union members at anniversary brunch. The Kitty Roundabout officially opened. 8 Berbice communities to get improved potable water. 3 new school buses ease burdens of Region 1 students and parents. After a multi-million-dollar rehabilitation, the Arthur Chung Conference Center reopens, and we have this week's post-cabinet roundup. These stories and much more in this week's InfoHub Recap. Government and GPSU are partners, not rivals, President Granger tells union members at an anniversary brunch.
The president said that the old model of hostility must be abandoned in favor of a new cooperative model. This, he said, will be in the interest of effective delivery of public services countrywide.
We need to establish among ourselves some form of social compact, particularly between the state and the servants of the state. We have to work together. What happens out there is not the concern only of central government. It is concern of all of us.
Referencing the 1953 Mills Report, the first major study on the civil service, President Granger reiterated his vision of having a highly skilled and professional public service.
So the time will come very soon in which public servants have to learn to speak the language that the people are speaking. And if you're going to be serving in the Rupununi, you have to learn some of the languages in the Rupununi. And you have to be prepared to serve in every part of the government, not only in ministry, but every part of the country in terms of our 10 regions.
Approximately 95 years ago, civil servants recognized the need for a body to advocate in their interests and sought leave from the governor to form a trade union. Permission was granted, and after several meetings, the British Guyana Civil Service Association was formed. This later became the GPSU after several name changes. Krista Stahl for InfoHub.
The much-anticipated Kitty Roundabout opened 1 month ahead of schedule on Monday. Here is InfoHub's infrastructure specialist, Renetta Lafleur.
Work on this roundabout was initiated back in 2016. Minister of Public Infrastructure David Patterson explained.
The first piece of the puzzle was the upgrade of the Carafesta Avenue. The next part of the puzzle, of course, was we had the replacing of all the pipe works on the where we stand, right on where we're sitting here. The next part of the puzzle, which you may not be aware, would have been the signing of the continuation of the road, the East Coast Road, which starts from Better Hope to Belfield. Then, ladies and gentlemen, we arrive at this, our roundabout.
Rehabilitation works on the roundabout wrapped up in May, 1 month ahead of its scheduled completion. Minister of Public Telecommunications Cathy Hughes lauded Minister Patterson for his outstanding work in the infrastructure sector.
It shows that when it comes to infrastructure, my colleague, Minister Patterson, continues to do amazing things. And my only disappointment is that we're in a society where we can't seem to work together. And here I'm talking about the opposition, working with government, coming onto the committees, serving the folks that you say are part of the people in Guyana that you represent. And this roundabout is really an increase in the efficiency for road users.
Landscaping the roundabout's center and installation of traffic lights and road safety signs are all that remain to be completed of the $79 million project. From the Kitty Roundabout with videographer Derek Bridgemahan, I am Renetta Lafleur for InfoHub.
Minister Joseph Harmon has promised residents of Lower Bonasika in Region 3 that they will receive internet access in a few weeks. This follows 2 other hubs commissioned in Berbice at Blairmont and Blackbush Polder. Details from Alexis Rodney.
Minister Harmon made the announcement on Sunday when he commissioned the Lower Bonasika Primary School's computer laboratory.
The provision of this computer laboratory will assist and complement government's ongoing program through the Ministry of Education the Ministry of Public Telecommunication, and the National Data Management Agency to modernize the education sector and improve the delivery of education in our rural communities all across Guyana by making information communication technology available in classrooms all across the country.
According to Minister Harman, since his assumption to office, President David Granger has been placing emphasis on science and technology.
To date, 106 secondary schools, 175 primary schools, 37 training and skills building institutions, and 9 technical vocational training schools in regions 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 have been connected to the e-government network and provided with internet access, with more schools scheduled to be added to the network by the end of the year.
The school's headmaster, Kapil Ramsamuj, said that the laboratory, which is funded by the Region 3 Private Sector Association, is timely and will benefit all students. Alexis Rodney for InfoHub.
And remaining in the ancient county, a $1.2 billion water treatment plant is under construction at Sheet Anchor. It will serve over 50,000 residents by September next year. Stefan Gabriel joins us again.
Constructed by Chinese company Sino Hydro, the water treatment plant is in its first phase with pile driving about 48% complete. GWI's Managing Director Dr. Richard Van West Charles and the team recently visited Region 6 to assess the ongoing work.
This is going to be very important in terms of extending access and improving the quality of water in this area. Some 25 villages are going to be the beneficiaries, from number 25 down to Gangaram. Gangaram previously was supplied by Gaisuku, but that will come into this area. And even so, as we speak, as this gets going, GWI, and we'll go over there in a minute, GWI has also begun to add sequests to look at the water quality in the area.
The project will also create jobs for many residents, boosting the local economy.
Sino Hydro is building the 3 plants simultaneously. So the piles are coming from all over. We have the subcontractors in Berbice. Mr. Ferdinand is working with them. You have a number of workers. I was just speaking to a young lady who is the first time she's working on the site, and she is having a good experience. So in terms of employment, in terms of subcontracting, the local economy is going to benefit.
GWI is also speeding up the issuance of meters in the region to improve efficiency and reduce water loss. The treatment plant will service villages including Industry, Dunrobin, Susanna Cumberland, Sheet Anchor, Canefield, Rose Hall, and several others. For InfoHub, Stefan Gabriel.
Hinterland transportation is challenging, especially for school children. Cognizant of this, government is not letting up on the much talked about and widely acclaimed 5Bs program, as 3 brand new school buses have been delivered to Region 1 communities. Sanika Thorne has the details.
The 3 19-seater buses were handed over to the Santa Rosa, Thomas Hill and Port Kaitumo communities during a recent ministerial outreach by Vice President Sidney Allicock, who holds the Indigenous Peoples Affairs ministerial portfolio. Santa Rosa Tushaw Juanita Phillips said that the vehicle will bring much-needed relief to many students who travel long distances daily to school.
I'm very happy today to know that we have a bus for the secondary school, for the children of the community in general. I'm happy that the government has this vision that these children need a bus.
Thomas Hill CDC chairperson Vicky Chiang explained that while the bus will be used to transport students in the Mabruma Township, its services will also be offered to seniors and HAZE participants.
Also, we're trying to involve these HAZE personnel that in the do catering and the do garment construction and these things, right? So what we say that we'll be doing is we'll have them cooking, and we can be delivering the food with the bus Same thing with the sewing and so special orders for the bus.
Government's commitment to providing equal access to education for all was reiterated by Minister Alicock.
We are all in support of this dream to give the best of education to our young people. Because if you have a nation that is educated, then there is nothing stopping us from being the most powerful country in the Caribbean.
The initiative forms part of President David Granger's 5B program aimed at providing boats, buses, bicycles, breakfast, and books to school children across Guyana. Seneca Thorne, InfoHub.
In Bartica, Guyana's first green town is setting up a multi-million-dollar green market. Zanil joins us again.
Mayor of Bartica, Gidford Marshall, told InfoHub this project has been a key factor in the municipality's transformation into a model green town. Deputy Mayor Kamal Passad explained that several upgrades have been made, including the installation of transparent sheets in the roof to provide more natural light, new shutters, 6 new stalls, and the resurfacing of sidewalks in front of the market. Additionally, black water tanks have been installed. There are still some minor works ongoing, including the building of an office, upgrading of the waterfront, additional stalls to be installed on the northern section. Gidford explained that another key aspect of the project will be the separation of waste into degradable and biodegradable. The riverfront community on the Essequibo River was selected over 1 year ago to become a town and a model of green development. The market project has 3 phases: rehabilitation of the market, implementation of an integrated solid waste management program, and promotion of local goods and services. The market is already functional, and visitors as well as residents have been purchasing the wide variety of items and services available.
The $20 million project, once completed, is set to become Guyana's first green market. Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
On Tuesday, we found out that ExxonMobil pumped $10 billion into the local economy for 2017 and the first quarter of 2018, and some of its loudest critics are beneficiaries.
Kaieteur News, which has been executing an unrelenting daily anti-oil and gas campaign, is among the hundreds of local companies cashing in on ExxonMobil's multi-billion-dollar investment in the Guyanese economy. Raman McRae, which is owned by vocal oil and gas critic Christopher Ram, is another of the Guyanese companies making hay from the oil giant's spending in Guyana, as is Guyana Times and Sleeping Hotel. 227 Guyanese-owned companies have been benefiting from ExxonMobil's business here. These companies and some individuals as well have been providing a wide range of products and services to the oil giant. Among the dozens of services provided are fabrication, transportation, accommodation, graphic design, catering, legal services, security, accounting and auditing, and media services. A massive Guyana $2.8 billion has been spent with local suppliers from January to March this year. In fact, the majority of the suppliers listed are categorized as small businesses. The government last Friday released to the Natural Resources Committee of the National Assembly the list of local companies which ExxonMobil has been doing business with for the first quarter of 2018. ExxonMobil is required to submit to the government on a quarterly basis the list of companies it engages. The company has been meeting its obligation to submit the quarterly lists to government since the commencement of their operations in Guyana. Reporting for InfoHub, Alexis Rodney.
The government is looking to establish a regulatory body for public transport. Renetta Lafleur joins us again with this report.
The supervisory body will craft the policies that govern minibus and boat operators, ensuring they provide a quality service at a cost that is not prohibitive. Minister of Public Infrastructure, David Patterson.
It's something that we have decided is needed so that they can regulate fares not only here, not only for the minibus drivers. We're talking about the other areas such as the speedboat operators and those things like that. And so there's a more organized framework for us to do it.
Over the past 2 weeks, minibus operators have protested for fare increases due to the rise in fuel prices. Minister Patterson said he has engaged Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin and a larger and more comprehensive discussion on transportation will be pursued. Renetta LaFleur, InfoHub.
Guyana is gearing up to beat plastic pollution. The Department of Environment hosted a consultation session on the proposed ban on single-use plastics in Guyana. Details in this report. In keeping with the United Nations World Environment Day theme, Beating Plastic Pollutions, the Department of Environment today hosted a public conversation on the potential ban of single-use plastics in Guyana. Department of Environment head NDB Schwartz said the ban on single-use plastics presented to the Cabinet will be implemented within 3 years.
In 3 years' time, we will be able to, as a country, develop the kind of, whether it's policy or plan, to enable us to quickly transition from single-use plastics.
The department proposed that a ban be imposed on the importation, manufacture and sale of single-use plastic bags and other single-use plastic products. Single-use plastics are made of fossil fuels, leave a large carbon footprint, leaches cancer-causing toxins into food and pollute the oceans, posing serious threats to marine life. In light of these negative impacts, Stakeholder Management Coordinator, Department of Environment, Aretha Ford, proposed a number of things aligned with the Green State Development Strategy.
To have the drafting of regulations, the development of standards and identification of alternatives, to propose fiscal incentives for the private sector, and to impose an environmental levy. And of course, these actions will be done simultaneously.
The event featured an interactive panel discussion headlined by a number of prominent public and private sector officials, environmentalists, as well as entrepreneurs. President David Granger on Wednesday stated that the government plays no role in hiring GCOM staff. This comes amidst the opposition's claims of ethnic imbalance.
Election Commission is an autonomous institution. The executive branch of government has nothing to do with recruiting procedures. I expect that they'll be following normal practice in having persons who are fit and proper, persons who are qualified to hold positions in that commission.
The head of state was speaking on the sidelines of a State House event held this morning. Opposition PPP GCOM Commissioner Rupson Ben alleged that there was bias in the ethnic composition of the high-level staff at the GCOM Secretariat. Commissioner Vincent Alexander, briefing the media yesterday, explained that the body hires based on merit, not race.
We do not necessarily share his concern. My own disposition has been that GCOM's approach to employment is one of a meritocracy. And if you want to change from a meritocracy to something else, then you have to make a concrete, rational proposal to create that change. That has not been done.
A statutory meeting of GCOM was adjourned following a standoff between Chairman James Patterson and Ben. Additionally, President Granger said that he is awaiting a list from Parliament containing the names of persons selected to be the acting Chancellor, Chief Justice and Commissioner of some other agencies. Once this is submitted, the President will meet with Opposition Leader Barrett Jagdeo.
The appointment of the Chairman of the Public Service Commission and some other commissions, and when Parliament gives me those names, I'll put all of those on the agenda for the meeting. I am required by the Constitution to do certain things, and I have obeyed the Constitution in every regard.
Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
Tiffany Rodius tells us the government will be speeding up its efforts to eradicate the use of mercury in the mining sector.
Minister of Natural Resources Raphael Trotman said the recent mercury incident drives home the point why mercury has to be eradicated.
We are intending to speed up our implementation. I got an email only yesterday from the United Nations Environmental Agency program to have us be provided with assistance.
The government has committed to eradicating the use of mercury in mining. It signed and ratified the Minamata Convention for the Eradication of the Use of Mercury in Mining in October 2013.
We will need the support of the miners. It is not the government, it is not the GGMC or the Guyana Gold Board that use mercury. It is the miners who use mercury.
2 teams from the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, will be investigating mercury emissions at the Guyana Georgian Mines Commission Brick Dam Complex. Minister Trotman noted it is a chance to review the standards and protocols used by the GGMC and Guyana Gold Board.
And at some point in time we may have or either surpass the standards or not met them. And so I think this issue gives us a chance to review all the systems, all the protocols, and even to recalibrate them.
The review would include examining the mercury exposure levels to ensure they meet international standards. For InfoHub, Tiffany Rogers.
Over 5,000 residents in various regions across Guyana are set to benefit from improved education and health services following the signing of several contracts. Renetta Lafleur has all the details.
The contracts valued over $200 million were signed today in the Ministry of Communities compound in Kingston. Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan said critical areas in these sectors were identified by the regions themselves.
The determination of these projects was done through a visionary and consultative process of identifying the needs of communities and understanding the importance that these projects will offer to the beneficiaries on completion.
The transport and regional sectors will also be enhanced in 6 regions. Finance Secretary Dr. Hector Butts emphasized to contractors the need to execute satisfactory projects.
I trust that as we move towards completing these contracts, the work which would have been done on the basis of high quality. It will stand the test, it meets the specs, and it is not, as work I've been seeing going on, by the time it's completed, we're thinking about asking the Ministry of Finance once again for more funds to do some supplementary brace-up.
A total of 9 contracts were signed with various contractors who will be assessed and monitored. From the Ministry of Communities in Kingston with videographer Kareem Peters, Renetta Lafleur for InfoHub.
On Thursday, President David Granger, accompanied by Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu and other top government officials, formally toured the rehabilitated Arthur Chung Conference Center before formally reopening the facility. Zanil Williams was there and filed this report.
The newly renovated Arthur Chung Conference Center was unveiled by President David Granger and Ambassador of the People's Republic of China to Guyana, Chui Chun. The head of state reminded that the symbolic building not only pays tribute to Guyana's first president, but to the two nations' bond.
Building is a monument to the deep friendship between the Cooperative Republic of Guyana and the People's Republic of China. It reinforces the unbroken bond forged 165 years ago, when the first Chinese immigrants landed in West Damran. The naming of this splendid structure in honor of President Arthur Chung. This ceremony pays tribute not only to an eminent citizen, a patriot and a public servant, but he's also the best known and most outstanding Guyanese of Chinese origin. It pays tribute also to the enduring friendship between our two peoples and our two republics.
Ambassador Chui Chun commended the administration for having dedicated the center to the first Chinese to govern a non-Asian country. The ambassador also noted that the repairs signifies the confidence that the People's Republic of China has in Guyana.
I do think that I'm confident that we can work together with international, with community, especially with diplomatic corps in Guyana. We do think that we can do more things, and we believe that Guyana has bright and a better future. I would like to emphasize that the one key word today's handover ceremony reflects the President's commemoration of the Arthur Chung family and the confidence or cohesion of the Chinese community, and a very, very important thing for the commitment of the relations between the countries.
The building, initially named the Guyana International Conference Center, was unveiled on February 16, 2006 and saw 13 conferences in its initial year. The facility was later renamed Arthur Chung Conference Center in 2015 by the coalition government in honor of Guyana's first president, Arthur Chung, who served from 1970 to 1980. From the spanking new facility with videographer Joanne Jordan, Zanil Williams for InfoHub.
The Guyana Elections Commission on Thursday afternoon abruptly adjourned a key meeting following an impasse resulting from a verbal confrontation between Chairman Justice retired James Patterson and PPP Commissioner Robeson Ben. Details in this report. GCOM Commissioner Vincent Alexander on Tuesday afternoon updated the media on what led to the statutory meeting's abrupt adjournment, where matters related to the upcoming local government elections were being discussed.
The chairman raised the issue of the presentation of Commissioner Ben at a Red House forum, where he intimated that 90% of GCOM staff was African Guyanese. The chairman challenged his statistics. He could not provide evidential information in relation to statistics, but maintained that there was a problem with the ethnic imbalance at GCOM. And this is a matter that he's been raising from time to time. There's never been any proposition as to how this matter could be addressed.
According to Alexander, since the chairman assumed office, there has been a disconnect and oftentimes disruptive interaction from the PPP commissioner. Alexander said the claim of ethnic imbalance is unsubstantiated and was taken into the public domain without GCOM having the opportunity of a proposition on the matter.
I posed the question, does GCOM in its recruitment ask people their ethnicity? And on what basis can someone come with this percentage if we do not keep information based on ethnicity?
For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael. On Friday, June 8, 2018, Chief Justice Roxanne George upheld the appointment of retired Judge James Patterson as the chairman of the Guyana Elections Commission. The ruling, the Chief Justice found that President Granger had properly executed the discretion to have made the appointment. Patterson was sworn in as GCOM chairman on October 19, following consultations with the opposition leader. Treasury memorandum shows gross mismanagement of public accounts on the PPP, billions in renewable energy projects to be completed. More in this week's post-cabinet roundup. A Treasury memorandum responding to queries by the Public Accounts Committee relating to the public accounts for the years 2012, 2013 and 2014 was presented to the Cabinet by Finance Minister Winston Jordan. Minister of State Joseph Harmon said the report concluded that there was gross mismanagement of resources over those years under the previous PPP administration.
Cabinet also noted the conclusions of the report, which stated that there was excessive waste, abuse, and mismanagement of the public resources, as well as a lack of financial transparency, accountability, discipline, and full compliance with the FMA Act, the Audit Act, and the Procurement Act.
Minister Harmon added that the report highlighted some of the most detailed responses to every query raised in each of the administrative regions. Public Infrastructure Minister David Patterson announced that several renewable energy projects involving solar, wind, and hydro and amounting to some 30 megawatts will be completed by 2020. These will be constructed in the 3 new towns, Mahdia, and several interior locations.
With regards to Bartica, we will be installing a 1.5 megawatt solar farm with storage, and obviously with storage means without it we can extend the life. The value of this is $3.87 million US. It will be funded by a loan, the IDB loan, and the IDB loan is diversification of the power matrix and energy security. The commencement, it shall be commenced in 2018 and has a completion time of 1.5 years, 18 months.
A micro hydropower project of 1 megawatt will be constructed at Iturbisi with funding under the Guyana Red Plus Investment Fund, GRIF, at a total investment cost of $5.22 million US. The time frame for implementation is 2.5 years. Minister Patterson added that a 2.2 megawatts dual hydro system using the Mokomoka and Kumu Falls will be constructed. This will be funded through the United Arab Emirates and the GRIF. The project time is 2.5 years.
We are now a member of the International Solar Alliance, and we have a line of credit, which is outside, which we haven't allocated as yet, of $50 million US. The idea with this is to have some indigenous villages powered, as well as some other areas. The Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs has been tasked, and the Ministry of Community has been tasked with identifying
the villages. We're not doing rooftop, we're actually doing utility scale installations.
You have been watching InfoHub Recap, where we share the past week's top stories. Goodbye now.